life is stressful. Where do you find the strength to keep going? Is there a price tag that even you have paid to chase success?
If you want big success in life, you got to do whatever it takes.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, nobody's going to do it for you.
But why is it that the most successful people are sometimes the most miserable?
And I became very successful. Like my Instagram following went nuts. My
Killed
business
it.
flourished from
Killed
that.
it.
I was published in Forbes, Sports Illustrated, Men's Health, MyFitnessPal. I basically achieved everything that I set my mind to when it came to starting my business.
Were you happy?
No.
Nico, what is going on?
What's up, buddy?
A long time no see, man.
Oh, yeah.
You're not gonna believe me when I tell you this, but you came to mind a few days ago, and you randomly walked in the other day. I'm like, I swear to God, this guy's reading my mind. I haven't seen you in about, what is it, five years?
Yeah, man.
How's life?
Life is crazy.
Crazy?
Yeah.
I will leave it up to you as to how far down this rabbit hole you want to go. But yeah, crazy enough, this is our second time doing an interview.
Yeah, that's right.
I was going through my YouTube history and I'm like, I swear I've done an interview with this guy before. The last interview was probably 2017. We were just like back when you were at Afterburn.
Yeah, that's right.
Doing in-person training.
Yeah, man.
That long ago, okay? So, but for today's interview, what I want to do is I just want to ask you a few questions about how you approach health,
Okay.
about success, about how you influence behavior in your clients, because I've seen your social media, you've just been crushing it over the last few years.
Oh, yeah.
Okay? So, my question to you is, actually, before I get to the question, can you give me a brief introduction about what it is you do and to give an introduction to people watching?
Yeah, absolutely. So keep it nice and simple. I help guys lose last bit of belly fat, see the ab definition, muscle definition that they've never seen before, or they have seen before, but it's been decades since they've seen it.
So when they were younger,
Exactly.
when they used to be in shape. So what does that mean? So like at what point do you see abs come out? Like
Under 10% body
10%
fat.
body. So you take people from like 15% body fat, 10% and below.
Yeah, exactly. I take them from that stage where they look like they work out, they look good with a shirt on, but when they look in the mirror, the results in the mirror aren't matching their efforts in the gym, and they just don't know why.
So there's like a disconnect
Yeah.
between the effort versus the results that they get.
Exactly, and it just comes down to minor tweaks that we have to make, and then they look unrecognizable.
So you do this online or in person?
Online,
Exclusively?
exclusively online.
Yeah?
Oh yeah.
So here's a question for you. How do you respond to stress? Because the interview series that I've been doing lately is to really understand how people cope with stress, ask you questions about is stress even worth it? But at a fundamental level, how do you respond with stress?
That's a great question.
Historically and more recently, how do you cope with stress? Do you take it out with food? Do you like maybe neglect yourself? What is the first thing that you notice when stress is at a all-time high? What happens to
Yes.
Nico?
So I've become very aware when I am stressed. I don't wait until it's too late. And the first signs of stress for me is I notice pain in my mid-back or tightness in my mid-back. And when that starts to happen, first thing I try is meditation. I'll do breathing, psychological sighs, and if that doesn't work, then massaging with a back massager, because I live too far away to get a massage from you.
You literally live in the middle of nowhere.
I live in the middle of nowhere. But massages, relax the tension. And then if that still isn't working, stress is way too high, then it depends on the type of stress, but often it comes down to me wanting to be with friends and family. So
Okay.
I'll make an effort, come to Toronto, and that's why I'm here, because I was way too stressed.
I randomly walked in. I'm like, it's Nico.
Exactly.
So, in your pursuit of success, or actually, that's a good question. How do you define success? Because I find for myself, as I've gotten older, as the business has grown, for some reason, I keep changing this definition of success.
Yeah.
Right? But this idea of pursuing success can sometimes be stressful, although we're doing this good thing for ourselves.
Oh, yeah.
At a fundamental level, how do you define it for you? What is success?
So my definition of success has transformed recently within the past year or so. And right now, the way that I see this life out here on Earth is it's a warm-up for the eternal life that God has for me in heaven.
Yeah.
So I want to maximize my potential here, develop the skills that I can hone here to do good and serve others so that I'm prepared.
Yeah.
So as long as I'm doing that on a daily basis, I am succeeding. And what that looks like in an actual day-to-day life is impacting the people who are following me on social media,
Yeah.
impacting the clients that I get to serve. You know, that's the more responsibility that I can steward. Well, the more people that I'm responsible for, then the more confidence that I have that I can impact even more people. So I just need to continue down that path of improving myself and increasing my impact, and that's success to me.
Yeah. Do you think stress is a good thing, a bad thing? Can stress be a bit of both?
I think it's a great thing.
You think it's a great thing?
Yeah, I think stress is necessary for growth.
Yeah.
A moderate level of stress is necessary for growth when it comes to your body, building muscle, losing fat, building a business. Achieving any sort of goal is going to require stress. It's only when you don't address that stress where it starts to harm you. But it's going to happen if you're going to face or work towards a big goal. You're going to be stressed.
Yeah.
But most of the people around nowadays try to shy away from stress or eliminate stress entirely, and that just makes things worse for them.
I do this funny thing where I come up with these like titles to explain things to myself, and I know you're a very spiritual person.
Yeah.
Religious or spiritual? Like
Religious.
where do you religious?
Yeah, I would say.
There's this term of coined, I don't know if it's an actual thing, but God's delayed strategy, right? So how I explain this to my clients is that when you plant a seed, like a bamboo tree, you're trying to grow a bamboo tree. Did you know it can take up to 5 years before you see any growth? So you spend the first year, you're watering, nothing happens.
Yep.
Year 2, something's going wrong. Year 3, nothing is happening. Year 4, year 5. But on the 6th year, that little seed can grow in 1 year, in 12 months, it can grow 20 feet.
Yep.
So this idea of a delayed development plan, I feel like sometimes we go through stress, but it's hard to make sense of it. But as we're etching away, self-development is what you're describing to me. You're working on yourself. Maybe you don't see the growth. Maybe you're doing things and it's hard to make sense of it. But one day there's going to be that tipping point where like, holy crap, I have this momentum.
Yeah.
Right? Can you tell me a bit about your spirituality and how you leverage it for your success? Because I'm sure it serves as a fuel for yourself.
Oh, I appreciate that question. There's a verse, Jeremiah 29:11, that has been paving the way for me. And I don't remember it completely, but it's along the lines of God has a plan for your future, for prosperity. You know, He's got better plans for you. So no matter what I'm doing, I know whatever I have planned, I'm going to get something even better than what I have planned.
Yeah.
And time again, that's been my life. So at this point, if I'm in the thick of it all and everything looks like it's burning down, it doesn't matter, because I know something beautiful is going to come out of it, and God's plan is even better. So
Yeah.
that holds me down.
You know, I think, I want to make this interview, you know what's so funny about this interview? I was worried about one thing. The last time when you walked in here, we just talked so much. And I got to make sure I make this interview within like 20, 25 minutes. But I want to ask you a question that actually wasn't part of the script. But I want to make this as candid as possible about spirituality, because I have this conflict within myself where I fight this idea of being religious or spiritual. But so a question, if you can help me out, shed some light on this. I don't understand how people pray and ask for an easier life, because my understanding is that because life is so stressful, we need to always challenge ourselves to grow. Yeah. So prayer for me makes more sense to ask for strength rather than it is to ask for an easier life. But because it ties back into self-development, we need to. This is something Christina, you referred me a client one time. Shout out to Christina. I've been trying to get her to be on this interview. She taught me this phrase from the Bible, which is death to self. You ever heard of this?
No, I haven't.
Your version that's going through something needs to die off for the next version of you to come up. And that next version is going to be the version of you that surpasses your expectation, that
Oh, yeah.
works towards success.
For sure.
Life is stressful.
Yep.
Where do you find the strength to keep going? Like, do you ask for an easier life? Is that even a thing to ask for? Or do you always work on being stronger so that you can overcome things?
From what I've seen in the Bible, God is not, like, we don't go to God for an easier life. The Bible is filled with stories of trials and tribulations that men of God face on an extreme level. Things that you and I in this day and age would never have to face, thankfully. But they never prayed for an easier life. They always prayed for strength. Or the qualities of the Holy Spirit, the things that are God's gift to us, they include very masculine things like self-control, discipline, grit, strength, that ability to overcome adversity. That's what I pray for. And typically, at least from what I've learned, is when you pray and it's in alignment with the Word, it's a guarantee that you're going to get that. So asking for an easier life is not in alignment with the Word. At no point is Jesus saying you should have an easier life. In fact, walking the walk of God is going to lead to a more difficult life for you. You're going to have enemies. You're going to have people who don't trust you. You're going to have the enemy, Satan, trying to pull you down and change your values. So it's going to be a very hard road to walk. But we pray for strength. We pray for wisdom, discernment, to become better. And that's only helped me with my self-development. Any personal development book that I've ever read does not compare to the lessons in the Bible.
Hey everybody, sorry for interrupting the clip here. I just want to let you know something very important. How you feel and your stress levels, it's kind of like understanding what drains your phone battery. In other words, you can have a phone with 80% battery, functioning good, you're feeling good, and then in other situations you have a phone with 20%, 10%. You go and even turn on the power saving mode, and then you turn on an application and it drains it that much faster. So understanding which applications you have open that drains your battery, it's very similar to understanding what stress types you have in your life. Because I say the fastest path to feeling your best is understanding what stress you're going through. So what I did is I created a stress survey that takes only 2 minutes to complete. And once you complete it, we will lay out a game plan as to what you have to do to feel your absolute best as fast as possible. So if you are interested, what I want you to do is to follow the stress survey link down below. Enjoy the rest of the clip. What was the tipping point where you knew you had to, one of my favorite words is the word rejoice. And I've recently looked into like, what does it mean to rejoice? And it means to so to do something again, find joy. So to rejoice, where did you, at what point did you realize I have to go back to my core foundation of who I am at its core, because maybe life pulled me in a different direction. Like, I want to ask, like, what was the thing, but how do I rephrase this? What does it take for somebody to go back to their foundation and really find who they were meant to be in life?
Well, I don't know for everybody, but for myself, it took losing everything. Like I lost, like, my mental health really took a hit last year, and it really came down to my marriage. It was, yeah, it sucked, all right? It sucked. Marriage went to, yeah, just not good. And my mental health really suffered during that marriage, and I ended up separating with my partner, and we have 3 kids, so this was my worst case scenario.
Yeah.
This is literally everything that I was afraid of. And within this year, lost my wife. Now I see my kids half the time. Lost my home. That's something that also happened within this year. House fire. Vehicles too. Everything in the house, everything gone. And in the book of Job, there's a character in the Bible who went through the exact same thing. Lost everything. And when I had nothing, the only thing that I had was God. And it was such a beautiful thing because it really showed me that I don't need anything other than God. And when that happened, I just wanted to seek Him further and dive deeper into that. And since then, my life has transformed. I've transformed, and everything that I touch is flourishing now at this point. And it's all thanks to him.
Yeah. When I'm going to try a difficult thing here, which is to tie the golden thread between religion, success, and your career. But when you're looking to help and guide somebody, right? So you take on a new client, are you looking for a certain individual that maybe, like, are you able to help somebody that maybe is not religious and spiritual? Like, is it exclusively that they have to be a religious person so that you can relate to them? Or is it you will try to guide them regardless, and if they happen to come to the same realizations that I have, it's even better, right? Because I know with religion, sometimes I feel like it can be very territorial, right? Yeah. It's like, I felt like my entire life it's been pushed onto me, but I'm naturally coming to these realizations that, like, I actually enjoy these parables, I enjoy these stories, and there's like a lesson here. Do you look for that in your prospects and your customer?
That's beautiful. I don't look for only religious people to work with, because at the end of the day, what I do is health and fitness, and that applies to everybody. And I can help anybody in that way. So we're not preaching to, or I'm not preaching to my clients if that's not what they came to me for. But what I get to do is I get to help them break through their limits. I get to show them what they're truly capable of. And that discipline, that self-control, that grit is inside everybody. Because it's a gift from the Holy Spirit. We've all got it. And I get to refine that for people. I get to help them refine that and become more powerful versions of themselves. And whatever they choose to do with that new self-confidence, that new power, that new belief that they can achieve anything they set their mind to, I just pray that they set their mind to following God's purpose for them. That might not be the case, but that's why I do what I do. Because whoever does that could end up changing the world. And it wouldn't have happened if they didn't cultivate the godly gifts that they have been given.
So you're saying you're not reading a verse in the Bible every time you check in with them?
That's not my job. No. God's going to find you. You're going to find God when the time is right.
Yeah, yeah. So can I ask you to tie in the health component of, like, health and success? Did you, as you were pursuing success, did it ever was there ever a price that you had to pay with your own health, right? Because, like, people see, I call it like the social media trap, like, people see this, like, high achiever, the successful individual, but entrepreneurship, man, is like what you see behind the curtain can be like almost opposite. And not that you have to get into like the extreme details here, and that's, I'm trying to juggle this, but, like, is there a price tag that even you have paid to chase success?
Absolutely. It's going to surprise people, but it's come at the sacrifice of my health. And I'll tell two stories. One are my physique competitions. When it comes down to stepping on stage, it's not 10% body fat. We're dipping down to 6% body fat, and that is not healthy. At that point, you feel like crap. So every contest prep that I've ever done is at the cost of my health. And I've gotten sick on my contest preps. I've felt horrible. My mental health would struggle. I would feel like total crap during every contest prep.
Just being hungry all day. Right?
Yeah, just being hungry all day. Your hormones are out of whack trying to make you eat. And that affects your sleep. Your cortisol levels are at their highest. Your testosterone levels start to drop. You're fighting against your body at that point to stay unhealthy, to look shredded. But that's the cost of success in men's physique or bodybuilding. The more you're suffering, the better you're looking.
Crazy.
And I've won overall men's physique championships, first place multiple times, and it was all those preps were always the most challenging and most painful, and my health really declined during those last few weeks of the prep. Although it looks healthy, the truth is it's not healthy to be that lean. So,
yeah. You know, I can't help but to draw these, like, analogies. Are you into Marvel comics?
Oh yeah.
You're. Let me set the scene for you, and then I'll come at you with the question. I think it was Endgame where Thanos, right? He has all those stones. He needs one more, but it's this, like, prolific moment where, like, in order for you to get the last stone, you have to sacrifice something, right? So then what does he do? He takes his daughter. He takes her to the cliff, and he's like, goosebumps even saying it, man. But like, in order for me to complete my mission, I need to sacrifice something. You're the only thing I love, right?
Yeah.
I have to kill you in order for me to possess the stone.
Yeah.
So then the whole scene happens where he pushes her off the cliff and then he vanishes into this other world.
Right.
And it's like the baby version of her.
Yeah.
Bear with me. It's the baby version of her. And then she asks him, did you accomplish what you have to do? And he's like, yeah, I have all the stones. And then she asks, but what did it cost you?
Yeah.
I almost cried, man. That one question, whenever I talk to somebody and they're chasing success, what did it cost you? Do you know what I mean? For some people, I know so many people that are financially doing great, but what's the price tag? They have a really shit relationship with their kids. Yeah. What's the price tag, right? So maybe you have the car of your dreams, but what did it actually cost you? Maybe you're struggling in this aspect. Can I ask you, man, what is the price tag for the success that you have?
Ooh. So that ties into the second story that I wanted to share, which comes down to business success. And you know how hard entrepreneurs can grind. We sacrifice everything for that. But one non-negotiable, one thing that I will never sacrifice is my relationship with my children. That's always been my priority. But everything else, I'm willing to lose. So I've lost, like physically, sleep. There'll be times where I am just running on 0-calorie Red Bulls. I'm not getting my sleep. My body is sore all day.
Oh, that caffeine. Team caffeine.
Yup. And nights in, I sacrifice friendships. I haven't seen some people, like, it's only been recently where I've reconnected with friends who I haven't seen in the last decade.
Years.
Because I was dialing in on my business. I sacrifice friendships. I sacrifice time with like my parents, my aunts and uncles, because the success was more important to me. And it cost me my marriage too. That did play a role. It's one of the things that influenced that falling apart.
Yeah.
But if you ask me if it was worth it, I would say, yeah, hell yeah, man.
Nico's a savage.
Yeah. Honestly, you gotta pick something that is meaningful to you, and when you have that, it doesn't matter what else you sacrifice.
So can I jump in here? Let me jump in here and ask you. You have one more story you want to share, but
no, that was it.
Let me ask you this, man, because I have my definition of this, but it doesn't sit well with people. But what is the price tag of success? What is the currency? Right? It's like I like to visualize. I go into a store and I'm trying to cash out for this thing called success. How do we pay for this thing? It's my time, right? It's not my money. Money doesn't buy me success. It can buy me opportunities, but I have to pay with like a corporate worker 9 to 5. Okay, but if you want to be successful, man, your manager says, give me 2 extra hours. Okay, I'll do it. Okay, you want to be that guy? Give me your weekends. Okay, I'll do it. You're still not gonna get it. Give me your weekends, extra time, and pull it all night, and you just keep going. But the price tag of success is eventually you run out of time to give. So what do? We neglect our health. And I can't unsee that trap that a lot of people fall into. And that's been the price that I pay. I neglect myself. I simply don't have enough time. Therefore, I reach to these energy drinks to buy more time.
Yeah.
What is your definition of how do you pay for success?
Whatever it takes.
You're willing to lose whatever. Yeah.
Except for my relationship with God and my children. Aside from that, success. If you want big success in life, you got to do whatever it takes.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, nobody's going to do it for you. You got to do whatever it takes.
Yeah.
Top athletes in the world, waking up at like 3 a.m. in the morning and they're training all day.
Yeah.
You got to do whatever it takes.
Do you think it's essential that if we're talking about success, do you have to burn out though?
I think burnout is going to happen at some point in your journey for success. But the ones who can sustain the journey and just continue are the ones who learn how to manage their recovery as well as they manage
Beat me to it.
the grind. Because like, how much more attention do we pay to recovering? I pay so much attention to recovery.
Do you? Yeah.
Just so I can go even harder. There was that time when I was doing that show back when we were in that other facility.
Yeah, the last thing.
I was getting massages from you and your team weekly.
Oh yeah.
Because I was trying to recover as quickly as possible so I could go super hard. Like if I went without
remember
those
that.
massages, I would go hard for like a month and then I would burn out. But with those massages, every training session was 10 out of 10, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And then with business,
So
the
true.
amount of panic attacks, the anxiety attacks, the sleepless nights when we first started, like those were so common. And then breathing techniques, psychological size, just learning how to control my central nervous system, knowing when I'm in my sympathetic nervous system is taking over more than my parasympathetic nervous system, and paying attention to the signs in my body that are telling me, okay, this is too high, you need to balance it out. And now because I practice that, I'm not burning out as frequently, but I'm grinding so much harder than I was in my early 20s, even though I'm in my 30s now.
Yeah.
With
yeah.
less time because I have my kids and stuff. I have more on my plate now, but I'm recovering faster and better than I've ever done before.
Do you think that's
harder.
sustainable for the rest of your life?
At this point, it'll probably need to evolve.
At this intensity, this consistency, this frequent, everything, all variables, all metrics.
Yeah.
You're gonna continue until the day you die.
Well, that's what success is, you know? It's
Yeah.
a long game. It's an endurance game. Look at
Yeah.
the best players like Tom Brady, you know? He had a huge impact, but he had a long impact.
Yeah.
LeBron, his career is so long. Longevity only comes down to being able to recover properly, right?
Yeah, yeah. You know, as time has passed, I've defined the word recovery to mean something different for myself. And at first glance, it might seem like recovery is like Chris massages, so he helps the physical body. But as like I can't even explain why being a father, being an entrepreneur, just sitting in here in silence by myself, and like year one, just being alone for so many like hours, days, and just not knowing what to do, just organically brought me. I define what spirituality, not as much religion, just because I don't know how to explain religion to myself, but I relate to spirituality. But my point is that I discovered something, man, and I want to share this with you. I discovered that when somebody wants to heal, I can help them to a certain limit, and I can only help the physical body heal. But there's still more healing that can be done.
Yeah.
For example, there's the physical body, there's the emotional body, and then there's the spiritual.
Yeah.
Right? And that sounds like hippie talk. That sounds like I'm a Jehovah's Witness. I don't know. It sounds so crazy.
Okay. Yeah.
But I've never been happier compared to when I managed these three bodies, right? And spirituality. I believe in spiritual healing as much as it sounds like I'm like splashing like water on myself, and I'm like I don't know, like just as I read these parables, I gain comfort in these lessons that maybe tell me that like what I'm going through, I'm learning through this process, right?
Right.
What do you think about that framework where like maybe physically you can keep going, but like you have to keep in check these other bodies so that longevity is actually a thing, right? Because you can only go as far as your physical body can go, but if you don't have these other things in check, I can guarantee the people that burn out are burning out not just physically, but these other aspects are not in check.
Yeah, absolutely. What I've experienced, I've worked with psychologists to really work on mindset and being able to focus on the, what did you say? There's the physical body.
There's
and
the
then
physical, there's the emotional,
Emotional.
and then there's like the spiritual body.
spiritual, yeah. So the emotional body, like that's something that people overlook, but the emotional body affects the physical body. As soon as your
That's the
emotions are
connection, yeah.
out of whack, this is what happens is we get in our heads and then we start trying to find solutions in our head. But the problem is not in our head, it's the emotions that are influencing our thoughts. And those emotions, we have a physical reaction to them. So they all tie together.
Yeah.
If you're emotionally unhealthy, you're going to be physically unhealthy, and vice versa. So you need to address all of them. And when I've started working on the emotional side, I've always worked on the physical side. But once I started doing the emotional work, it's far more difficult than the physical work.
Where do you start? What do you touch? It's not tangible. Right?
And there are habits and thought patterns that are instilled in you since you're a child. But if you want to grow and take yourself to the next level, the better version of you need to address that too.
So I have some questions that I wrote down that I want to make sure that I ask you. Once again, you answer as open as you want. You can be as like shallow, as like prolific as you want. What stress are you grateful for? This is a reverse psychology question, all right?
Okay.
What stress are you grateful for that you didn't escape?
I didn't escape.
That you're still in. I relate to that through like entrepreneurship. I want to like ditch out of this all the time, but I'm like, no, this is a positive type of stress for myself, right?
Yeah.
So you're going through something that's stressful for you, but you're happy you're going through it. What is it?
That makes sense. And I would relate to the entrepreneurial side of it too, because there are so many days where I'm like, I'm throwing in the towel. This is it. I'm gonna get a 9 to 5.
Depends how you wake up, what state of mind you're in. You're either an entrepreneur or you give up.
We all have those days, you know. And I'm so tempted to give up every single time, but I know if I just wait till tomorrow, my mind's gonna change and I'm gonna be in this and I'm gonna love it.
So
and I would never want to change my line of, or entrepreneurship. I might change the industry, but entrepreneurship, it's personal development you get paid for. Like, why would you say no to that?
Yeah, man, this next question, this is one of the ones I thought of driving home. A religious question. Is God putting you under pressure on purpose?
Oh, interesting.
You like that?
Yeah, I do like that.
Is this meant for something bigger? I'm not saying, and I'm not saying like the personal things that you're going through, but like just like the stress of life, the weight on your shoulders, your kids are like, what is that working towards? Can you envision something bigger?
Yes. So I think we're all gonna go through stress. Like there's no way to go through life without experiencing stress.
Yeah. So Nico, before we were rudely interrupted by this camera that just shut off randomly, I'm gonna go back to that question. Do you think God is putting you through the stress that you're going through? And it doesn't have to be the stress through like the personal things that you're dealing with, which sounds very overwhelming. It doesn't have to be that, but like the stress that you're going through in its totality, is it something that's preparing you for something else? Is that how you view spirituality and religion and your relationship with God?
That's exactly how I see it. I see every stress as an opportunity to grow.
Yeah.
If I look at it like personal development, everything that we learn in personal development is about failing forward and growing, learning from your mistakes and growing.
Yeah.
In fitness, it's the same thing. You lift weights, you fail, you come back stronger, lift heavier weights.
Yeah.
In spirituality, every opportunity is an opportunity to get closer to God. And when you get closer to God, you hone the gifts that He's given you, the talents that He's given you that are unique to you and unique to me, unique to who's ever watching. And when you have that relationship, you have a father who likes to see his children do what they do best and love to do. My father is exactly like that. Like my dad is like that. He loves to see me succeed. When I see my kids doing what they do best, I love it and I'm encouraging it. And they grow and develop. So every stress that comes my way, it's an opportunity for me to get closer to God, hone in those skills, and become the best version of me. And that prepares me for the work that He has up ahead in the next life.
Yeah. Check this out. If I snap my finger, you lose everything. I mean, I think this takes a different...
All right, I'll do it again.
that has a different meaning for you. Damn it. You lose everything today, okay? You lose everything.
Sure.
What do you still have in your life that matters?
If I lose
you lose everything. You lose everything. What do you still have that matters?
I got God. I have Him. I'm set.
Yeah.
I've got the lessons in my head and everything that I remember, but those still don't compare to that relationship with God.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I can lose my memory, but if I still have God, I'm gonna be blessed.
Success. My relationship with success. Everybody. I mean, I try to like make success in myself this like. It's so by default, like it's like to take this victim card, but like success, I chase it because I feel like it'll make me happy. But why is it that the most successful people are sometimes the most miserable?
Because we try to fill a void. I tried the exact same thing, and I became very successful. Like my Instagram following went nuts. My business flourished from that. I was published in Forbes, Sports Illustrated, Men's Health, MyFitnessPal. I basically achieved everything that I set my mind to when it came to starting my business.
Were you happy?
No. I mean, like I was like happy to an extent. I was proud of myself, but it wasn't like this is perfect.
It's a weird thing. No. How do you make sense of it?
Well, when I was at my peak, I lost everything. And when I lost everything is when I realized I don't need anything but God. So now I'm chasing success still, but I'm at peace. I have peace. And now I'm succeeding even more than I was before.
Yeah.
Because it's not success that's going to fill the void in my heart or in my soul. That's the Holy Spirit.
Yeah. You know, when people look at success, they see the tangibles, the obvious, right? But what is the one thing about success that people don't see that is essential?
They don't see that the definition of success is something that they have to create for themselves. Most people find success defined by someone else. You know, definition of success for most people is wealth, financial freedom, time freedom, location freedom.
Yeah.
But some of that stuff might not even matter to you. You know, in fitness, somebody's version of success is a six-pack. Become Mr. Olympia. Somebody else, it might just be get to the gym 3 days a week and live a healthy life and live as long as I can for my family. So you have to choose.
Yeah.
And if you can pinpoint your version of success, set the criteria for what it is you want and what you're not willing to sacrifice, then you can actually attain your version of success instead of chasing somebody else's. If you chase somebody else's, you're not going to be happy.
Yeah, you're not fulfilled.
Oh.
You know, I've experienced that. Me learning these small skills, and it's like I'm like learning these things, and I can't explain why I'm learning the thing I just spent like weeks learning, and then eventually I realize that it serves a purpose. Do you think the stress that you're going through is something that is guiding you, or is it something like on purpose, if that makes sense, right? So for example, is it something that God is doing to guide you towards that next stepping stone, to get you to that next version of you, or is it just something random?
I believe it is for like intentional. And intentional on my end and from God's end. There are times where I'm choosing what kind of stress I want to put myself into because there are things that I want. So I will put myself through the physical stress, the emotional stress, the financial stress, whatever it is to get what I want.
Yeah.
And then God comes out, does his thing, and is like, nah, you're going the wrong way. I'll put this level of stress in front of you.
Yeah.
And then I have to deal with that, and then it leads me to a better thing.
So you don't think that stress is random?
No,
No.
definitely not. I don't think so at all.
So it's on purpose?
Yeah. Whether you realize it or not, you know, we're all going to face challenges. And I think most people don't realize that. I think they just let stress hit them and they don't analyze it. Like, why is it there and what can I learn from it? And they don't grow. But if they just continue to face that same stress over and over again, there's a reason why it's there. You either figured it out or you're just going to have a generational curse that you're passing down.
Have you been able to personally get to the point where you've mastered stress? Or do you think people that are like ultra successful, are they just hiding their stress?
I don't think
Like, what do you
anyone
think?
can
Yeah.
ever master stress.
You don't think so, eh?
Because every level of success, whatever that version is going to come with new levels of stress, like new stressors. And you then have to navigate and figure out how are you going to manage that. It's kind of like when you start off as an amateur basketball player. You're going to have a certain level of stress, but it's nowhere near the level of stress that the top NBA players in the world face.
Yeah.
And they recover differently. So you're always going to have new levels of stress that you need to learn how to recover from and manage.
Yeah.
What was the other part of the question?
No, I was trying to basically determine is like, I guess that's a good parallel where like you compare like an amateur versus a professional, right? Are we talking about success where like somebody's hiding it better, like they're more composed under high pressure situations, but they're still going through the stress? It's not that it's not there.
Yeah.
Versus someone else that like
Makes sense.
you're going through something like minor, but it's like a life-ending thing.
Yeah.
So is stress something where like you get better at hiding it, or do you eventually ever master stress?
I don't think it's hidden from the ultra successful.
Yeah.
It's like when you see a professional make something that's extremely difficult look easy. It's not that the stress isn't present and they're hiding it.
Yeah.
It's that they've trained themselves for that stress, that it looks so effortless that the stress doesn't even look like it exists.
Yeah.
And that's it. The best of the best have just put themselves under stress and trained through that stress and faced it over and over and over again, where they're not fazed by it.
Yeah. Now, just a few more questions here. If you can give, so almost like when I first met you, if you can give that version of you some advice regarding, let's do this whole thing again. And I'm talking like just like life and how you cope with things, and like maybe jumping into things, jumping into entrepreneurship is what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
But like, is there advice that you would give that younger version of you? Because likely there's somebody watching this video that is in that position thinking, I can become a online coach. I'm a Filipino guy as well. They relate to you in many different ways, spiritually or whatever it is. What is that advice that you would give that version, or maybe you can course correct in the way that you're realizing now that religion is doing for you?
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's a big question. There's so many lessons that I would love to share to that version of me. I don't think I could
give a whole TED talk about.
Yeah, exactly. I would sit him down and spend all day with him.
Yeah. What's the one thing though? Like, if you just have to give advice, look, buddy, let me sit you down. This is like, let me manage your expectations or something, right? Like, it's, I would tell you, the younger version of myself, if I could just answer that, it's going to take a lot longer than even you anticipate to become successful. It's just going to take longer.
That's a good one.
I think to me that's like the most gut-wrenching thing, that like social media portrays this like fast, even in like the health industry, fast results, easy results.
Yeah.
And then you go through the motions of it. It's like, holy crap, it's 10 times longer than even what I thought before. You got to give me one though.
I got one. If this is for like entrepreneurial growth, right? So
whatever advice you want to give this guy.
This
It can
is
be
what I would give him.
entrepreneur, it can be relationships, man.
when we met, it was like very, it was entrepreneurial, you know? We were
Get
there, so I'm
entrepreneur.
going to talk to that guy. What I would tell that version of me is everything that you need to know to achieve the success that you want with your business is in the book of Proverbs.
What does that mean though?
The book of Proverbs?
I know nothing. I'm learning about this stuff on a daily basis. I know nothing. Talk to me.
The book of Proverbs
What is it?
written by King Solomon,
Okay.
who was the wealthiest person to ever exist.
Okay.
He prayed for guidance, wisdom and discernment. God said you can ask for anything, and he chose wisdom and discernment. And he became the wisest consultant that the world's ever seen. He was the person that, like, in today's world, you'll hire Russell Brunson or Grant Cardone or Hormozy to tell you what to do to grow your wealth.
Guide, yeah.
Solomon was them, but way above.
Wow.
And he wrote the book of Proverbs.
Oh, that's what it is.
And he did not write stories like other books in the Bible. What he did was write down tactics. He wrote down every lesson that you've learned in entrepreneurship, and I've learned in entrepreneurship, it's in the book of Proverbs. What you said, that's one of the many verses in the book of Proverbs. It's going to take longer than you think.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And everything that I could possibly try to share with that version of me, I don't need to. It's already written down. It's already there. It's been given to you.
Is there a lesson? Is there one other lesson that comes to mind that you've leveraged to reassure you throughout like stressful moments?
Oh, what I would tell them if it came down to that is read the book of Psalms. Because that is just about emotional distress and characters from the Bible who suffered but needed to, overcome that type of stress. And that's all written in the book of Psalms. You'll find comfort there.
Yeah. Nico, it's nice seeing you, man.
Yeah, you too.
You know,
man.
I did want to touch on one last category, but I don't know if we got time.
Let's just go for it. We can clip it out if we need to.
Okay. I just wanted to, like, for me, it's very difficult to talk about success and to not talk about our parents, right? And I actually don't know anything about your parents, right? So I'm not talking about you being a parent. I'm talking about like how much my mother had to sacrifice for her to give me any sort of competitive advantage, or where like maybe when I'm 30 and she was 30, it's just a different quality of life, right?
Yeah.
But it's hard for me to have an interview where I talk to someone that I know started from like, not in a diss, but like you didn't start from like wealth.
No.
You started from like we started in the same position, right?
Yeah, as bottom as it gets.
But I just wanted to ask you, man, are you in a position now where you look at your parents and you understand the sacrifice that they made so that you could have a better shot of success?
Yes.
Right?
More so now than ever.
Why? And what is that thing that you observed?
Well, I'm now at the age, almost at the age that my mom was when she had me. And my mom sacrificed so much.
You're at the age now that your mom was when she had you. How old are you?
Yeah, I'm 32. My mom was, I believe, 34 when I was born. And it's so weird to see our parents as adults and as human beings. But now that I see them as more than just my parents.
Yeah, parents
I'm
are
like,
not humans,
wow.
right?
Yeah, exactly.
Never thought. Yeah,
Well, my mom sacrificed everything. She was a single mom when I was born, living in the Philippines and in an unhealthy environment. And she came to Canada by herself, just her and I. No plan of what to do here, but she knew that there'd be a better future for me here. And I remember all the days where she was crying and stressing about money, thinking that we'd be homeless and panicking with her, her just stuff that she would deal with as a single mom in a country where she's not speaking English as her first language.
Didn't speak English, huh?
Yeah. With a child, and trying to just navigate life in general is difficult, but to do it by yourself in a foreign country, I can't imagine.
Can I ask you, is there one story that can you share? I would want to share it. I was thinking, I'm like, damn, I want to bring up this topic with Nico, but like, I also want to share a story with you too, because it it traumatized me. But I wanted to ask you, like, when you look at your parents, like the sacrifice that they made, like, what is the story that really formed your identity in terms of like, I see that they had to sacrifice themselves for me to have any sort, like, you're on their shoulders because of their sacrifice. Is there something that comes to mind specifically? Like your mom crying, and I think we all have one story that just like shapeshifts, like it just like changes our course of direction in life. And for me, I have one I want to share with you, but do you have one?
I do. And it really came down to the conflicts that my parents would have regarding money. I think it's a common theme a lot of people can relate to, you know?
And success. This is a good parallel here.
It was money. It was always money. They were always stressing. My mom was always stressing about money. And she would say things to my dad like, we're going to be homeless, living on the street and stuff. And as a kid, I'm absorbing all that. So my biggest fear is like not having enough money, you know?
Yeah.
And my efforts to succeed, I created a definition of success that was not mine at first. The definition of success was my parents' definition of success, which was to own a home and to, you know, always have money.
Tangibles.
Yeah. So I chased that and I achieved that. And then I was like, not happy because this is not what I wanted. This is what my parents wanted. But I was so proud that I was able to do that for them. But then I asked them, you know, like, you guys never told me you wanted me to do X, Y, and Z. I didn't have parents who said, you got to do this, 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 and then live this type of life. They gave me so much freedom to live whatever life I wanted. But I put that pressure on myself to achieve their goals because I didn't want them to go through all those years of sacrifice and not achieve their goals. So I'm like, I'm the next generation. I'll achieve it for them before they go. And I did, wasn't happy, talked to my parents, and then they said, you don't need to do any of that for us. We're happy. And then they told me they were proud of me no matter what I'm doing. And at that point, I had so much freedom to define my own version of success, and now my life is completely changed.
Ah, man. I'll tell you this quickly. So when I was younger, this is like, because I was thinking, I'm like at what point did I learn the lesson that life is like difficult? Because when you're young, you're sheltered because your parents are providing for you. But I got to a certain point in life where my parents were going through this really fucking gross divorce, right? I was around it was like grade 11, right? And I had this job where like, because my mom was covering all the bills, right? Parents separated, it's just my mom. My mother raising minimum wage 5 kids. How? How?
I don't know how that's
minimum
possible.
wage. Raising 5 kids,
That's impossible.
I've come to accept that like maybe we were like neglected a bit in life because she was just working. I understand that.
Yeah.
But there was this one time in my life where she came up to me and she's like, "Can I borrow money? We have no money for food." And I had this stupid job and I'm like, "It's my money. Why do I have to give you anything?" So you know what? Like an idiot. You know what I said? I'll give you $20, but if I give it to you, you owe me 40.
Charging your mom interest?
That's not even
like double.
Nico, I feel ashamed of this story.
Fair enough.
So then I'm like, in my mind, I'm this like savvy guy. I'm making money this way, right? So then, like, only to realize later, she's like buying with that money, she's buying food to feed the family, right? But like, you don't give a shit because it's my money, right?
The kid, Very
So
alive.
then one day, like I was always used to this like opening the fridge and it was like relatively empty because my mom working all day, she couldn't even cook anymore, right? They went through this divorce.
Yeah.
So one day I opened the fridge and it's fucking, Nico, it's fucking packed with meat. I've never seen like a piece of meat like this big before in the fridge, and there was like so much of it. There was so much food, it was fucking funny. It was so funny to see this. So then I call my mom and I'm like, what the fuck? Like, where do we get this from? She's like, yeah, that new place down the street, I went grocery shopping. It was like a shawarma place, right? But they also had like a butcher and like veggies and shit.
Yeah.
And then I remember like, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go buy shawarma. This food looks good. So then I go down the street and I talk to the owner. I'm like, hey, my mom was just here, and she bought groceries, and he's like, so I'm getting my food, and then the owner says to me, he's like, yeah, I felt bad for her. She was crying, so I just gave her groceries.
Wow.
Buddy, like, I've never felt like a bigger piece of shit in my life.
Oh.
After that moment, I'm like, okay, I need to like redefine my definition of like supporting people around me, right? So anyways, I just wanted to share that story because it's so important for us to like, I think ultimately there's something that drives you, and it's a different story than like what drives me. But I think that pivoting moment, that story, it's so fucking crazy to unlock that from somebody, because I think it's like, I can starve myself all day, take all that, like not even take caffeine, but like that story, infinite energy to just keep working towards something, right? Anyways, Nico, I just wanted to share that story with you because I think it's so important that we address, eventually your kids will look at you and understand the sacrifice that you're making. And like, I know you're going through a lot, but like, I think eventually they'll learn to understand the sacrifice that you made.
I really hope so.
It happens eventually, man. And it's like more recently only happening to me, but I think there will be a moment where they come to understand the price of success that my father, that my mother made to make sure that the kids are happy, right? I think eventually that happens.
Yeah, absolutely.
Last, I guess, words of wisdom that you can share with somebody that's looking to take control of their health. Maybe they spent the last few years spinning, going in circles in this hamster wheel. Maybe they used to be healthy. Maybe they used to be in shape. Yeah. And they try and they start and then they stop. What is one bit of advice if someone's watching this video that you can share with them that can maybe course correct them?
Oh, very simple tip with this one is invest in yourself and hire a coach. Just hire somebody who's going to tell you exactly what you need to do to get the job done. Because ultimately, we all need support. We all need that level of support with our health, especially. But instead of going to a doctor when it's too late, go to a coach when you're young and you have the time to work on this proactively instead of reactively. And maybe you're the type of person who knows exactly what you need to do and you think that you don't need to hire a coach. If that's you and you still don't have the results that you want, you need a coach not for the information, you need it for the accountability. Because if you know what to do, why aren't you doing it? You need somebody to tell you, and that's not a bad thing. We all need somebody sometimes to tell us what we need to do, because if we just rely on ourselves when we're stressed, tired, hungry, angry, lonely, whatever, we're gonna choose the easy route. But if you've got somebody in your corner to tell you, yo, get a massage, yo, pick up some heavy ass weights, yo, cut back on the carbs, up the protein, whatever it is, they're gonna give you an unbiased opinion of what you need to do to get the job done. And because you paid, you're probably gonna pay attention.
Very true. And don't hire a friend as a coach.
No, don't.
Nico, thank you for your time. I hope it's not another 5 years before we do this again.
Definitely.
I think the first interview was years ago. I think we're going on the track of every 5 years at this point. With the first interview, this one, next one, hopefully we do it in a few months.
Yes.
Okay? Nico, thank you.
Thank you, Chris.